Hey guys, for some reason the last recording stopped, so we're going to pick up this one. I think this is our third installment. Um, I can't even keep count anymore. But anyway, alright, so here's where we are with ours, and here's where we need to be to catch up to our class. So what we're going to do is going back to the text document. I'm going to highlight all of the rest of the information. Let's see. Save that. Bring that down to the bottom. And I'm actually just going to hit return after the paragraph text and just paste it all in there. Save that and let's preview it. Look at that browser. That's not how it looks inside of our text document. So weird, right? Again, what's the reason? Because the browser doesn't care about spaces beyond one character space. It only cares about one character space. We have to use markup in order to get this to perform how we want it to perform. Okay, I like to emphasize that just to make sure you know. Now, all before so far, we use our H3 tags and our paragraph tags in order to mark up. There is a special tag that will work, and what this tag does is it'll actually set your stuff up the way that it looks inside of your text editor. However, there's some quirks to it, but we can make it work. Now, it's called the pre-tag, which stands for pre-formatting. So if we right now did this pre-tag, which is just PRE, and we want to close it where we want to close it, which is right after our third paragraph. What it's going to do is it's going to pre-format our text. Notice how it looks right now. It's going to pre-format the text based off of how it looks inside of our text editor. So if we hit refresh, notice now it's following a certain font, which is different than the font that we have. So that's good to know as well. So it's following a certain font, and it is formatting it. See how we see the paragraph text and information after the third paragraph? So that works well. Well, notice that we have this National Chocolate Caramel Day, and National's coming out a bit further than it should. There's a reason for this. Now you would think, okay, well, it's because it's in the pre, so if I hit return, that should fix it, right? Well, let's check that out. And we do it, you hit return, and now it's even crazier. You're like, what in the world is going on with my text? Let me tell you what's happening. I'm going to undo that. What's actually happening is it looks at these spacing, 1, 2, 3, 4. Notice how far, this is 4 spaces in, right? And this one right here is also 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 spaces in from the edge. So it's looking to say, oh, well, this now needs to be 4 spaces in. But before we do that, let's save it. Let's make it go back to normal. Okay. So what we need to do is we need to create those 4 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we save it, and then now it's lining up. Because remember, it's doing exactly the same thing that it sees inside of your browser. So it's very specific. So if this is 4 spaces in, then this needs to be 4 spaces in. And the way I figured that out is by pretty much counting the spaces, because your mouse will stop each space. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. And it's just that easy. Crazy, but it's easy. All right, so let's see how close we are to our goal. If we go back to our class, we're pretty close. We got our information in there. So we have some formatting and stuff to do. And we're going to get to that. Before we get to this individual formatting, let's go ahead and format our text down here. How to observe. Notice on ours, it's just pretty much standard paragraph text. So we want to give it a heading, because if we look at the one that we had, it was bold. So we're going to give it an H2 tag. So hopefully by now you guys are seeing that all you're doing is having regular text and regular content, and all you're doing is marking it up. That's what you're using the tags for. That's all HTML is. It is marking up text. That's it. There's no special craziness, no special formula. All you're doing is marking up text that you would normally put in a Word document or anywhere else, and you're just marking it up for the web. That's markup. So now that we said that this is an H2, we go to our browser and it says, okay, they want that to be an H2, and it makes it an H2 tag. That's simple as that. That's really it. Although notice, our how to observe is in that special text that's in our pre. Now, why would it still follow the pretext? Could it be I forgot to do something? Let's see if you can figure it out. I'm going to give you like a second. Hopefully, you figured out that, okay, she has this open pre-tag, but down here, she hasn't closed it. She opened it. So it still thinks that it's following the formatting that's inside of this pre-text. So now we need to close this. Now, how do I close it? Exactly. Give it that slash. Now when I refresh, now it's like, oh, okay. The pre has closed. So now we're back to normal text formatting and text hierarchy. Very important. If you see craziness happening, check your tags and see, oh, okay, maybe I didn't do this or maybe I didn't do that. Okay, 9 times out of 10, that's what it is. It's that you forgot something. All right. So I'm not even going to put this in a paragraph tag because it's actually following paragraph tags. And it does. The natural setup is to follow paragraph tags. Now, what it does not do with your text is it doesn't follow the paragraph spacing, because in between each paragraph, it gives spaces. But if you don't have that paragraph text, it's not going to follow that. If you have paragraph tags in there, it's not going to follow that spacing. But for now, we're good with the way that this bottom part is. What we want to do, though, is we want to give it quotes. Now, quotes are Q. Just simply put the Q tag. But you're going to see what happens. Notice I have quotes already in here. Do you see that? Quotes are already in here on the browser, and quotes are already in here. So if I put this Q tag, and I put it before, and I put it after the quote, watch what happens. Something weird. Oh, look at me not closing that. Notice what's happening. Do you see that? It put double quotes in there. You know why I did that? Because the quote tags are already programmed by the browser to put quotes in there. And it's straight quotes that it puts in there. So we need to get rid of these quotes that we have in here because they're not needed. And then when we refresh, we'll see, life is good again. And we just have straight quotes in there. Pretty swift. Pretty swift. All right. The next part, I'm sorry for the smacking. I'm actually have a cough drop because I'm trying to talk to you guys without coughing. I tell you, it's crazy. All right, so what we want to talk about now is we want to talk about formatting, and we want to start to set up some of this formatting. Because if we look at the one that we did in class, we have formatting like this is bold text, and that's bold text, and that's italicized, and then we have this, which is bold text. So what's really going on? It looks simple, but there's a lot going on inside of here. So let's go back to where we are. The first thing that we're going to deal with is we're going to make our text bold. Now, if we just want, you know what? Let's just do it. And we'll talk about it in a second. So, National Chocolate Caramel Day is bold. So let's go ahead and give it the bold tags so that it knows, hey, you're bold. Okay? And if we preview this, it does make it bold for us, which is awesome, right? Because that's what we wanted to happen. All right? And then we notice that observed annually is italicized. Well, let's go ahead and give it the I tags to make it italicized. All right, so we have it italicized. Okay, and this is cool. Here's where it gets interesting. Notice down here that we have this Milton Hershey, and that looks bold too. There really is no difference in the two, but this was not set up through bold text or bold tags. Okay, this was set up through what's called the strong tags. Now you may say, and let's just do that for some purpose. Let's just put strong tag in here, and we're gonna put it before his name, and we're gonna put it after his name. And then there's one more. Let me see where our... Well, let's test this one first. Okay, so we use strong tags, and there's really no difference. They look absolutely the same. So what is the difference between these two tags? Well, I'll tell you. The bold tag is for presentational purposes only. This is if you just have text and you just want it to present itself as bold. You don't want it to be said in a strong, emphasized way. You just want it to be bold. So for presentation purposes, you use the B tag. If you want the screen readers to read this in a way that instead of... So what will happen is screen reader will read this as National Chocolate Caramel Day is observed annually on March 19th, blah, 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 right? Well, when you put the strong tag in there, you're telling that screen reader, no, I want this to be read with emphasis. So I want this. So now the screen reader says, wow, Milton Hershey receives a lot of credit for making... So it changes, right? It changes into a stronger, like more emphasized way of speech. So it becomes a part of speech. So when you do strong text over bold, then you're saying, oh no, this needs to be read with emphasis. The same goes down here where it says he did make his living making caramel first. We use italics up front, but for this one we're going to use emphasis. And for emphasis, we're telling the screen reader, hey, I don't just want this italicized, I also want this to be read with emphasis. Okay? And so now when we save this and preview it, it really looks no difference between italicized or between bold. There's no difference at all. But what's happening in the background makes all the difference in the world. Okay? So you want to make sure that your site is as accessible as possible so that every viewer, not just you and I who can see and hear, but you want to make sure that other people who come to your site can also experience your site as you'd want them to. So now I have a pop quiz for you. Or, oh, I had the wrong thing. Sorry guys, I'll tell you. I meant to save over here. The last thing that we want to do so that we can get to where we were in class. So the last thing we did in class is we made this text down here. Let's go to it. This text, we made it bold. Okay? Or we made it strong. Not sure which tags we used because you're about to tell me. So this pound sign caramel day. Words are hard today. They are so hard. It's hard for me to even form them. I'm also on Dayquil, so I'm not sure if that has anything to do with it. Maybe you shouldn't record videos while on cough medicine. Not sure, but you know, yeah, I did it. All right, so chocolate caramel day. Here's what I want to happen. I want chocolate caramel day just to be presentationally darker than the rest of the text. I'm not worried about how it's read. Which tag would I use? Would I use bold or would I use strong? I'll give you a second. If you said bold, you are absolutely correct because I'm not concerned about the way that it's read. The only thing I want it to do is I want it to look bold. But if I was concerned about how I wanted the reader to read it, I would make it what? Man, you guys rock. You're so smart. Exactly. I would make it bold. I would make it strong. All right. This is where we are. This is where we're in class. So those of you who weren't there or had to leave early, now you are caught up to where we were in class. And in the next series of videos, we'll be continuing from this point. And then there'll be another series that continues from that'll be about Saturday's class. So hopefully you enjoy and you learned something. See you in a few.